So if it works, I'll see it on here. Welcome everybody to Good Vibes, episode 3, Live Your Dreams. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My special guest today is Dee from Flip the Script Coaching.
That's okay. Flip the script.
I'm sorry. I'm going to retwist this and flip the script and let Dee introduce herself and tell us about what she does. Before that, people, welcome again. We really encourage you to share your thoughts, share this video. We are going to be talking about so many different topics. We want your input, and I'm very, very blessed to have Dee here. Dee, please tell us about yourself and Flip the Script Coaching.
Okay. Hi everyone. So Flip the Script Coaching is a life coaching and personal development company. And what we do is we focus on helping people to rewrite their lives. Put simply, it's a case of people know what they want, but there's something that's stopping them, and coaching is a brilliant way of being able to work with somebody to achieve their dreams, or as I like to say, rewrite your life.
Okay. And so when did you start Flip the Script Coaching?
So Flip the Script Coaching has been a little while in its making. So I've been coaching for a number of years, but the actual company, everything started last year.
Okay. And how's it going?
It's very, very good. It's enjoyable. I have worked with some amazing people. So and there's some very exciting things in the works. Very exciting things, but I'll keep stum about that just for now. I'll come back for part 2.
Okay, so basically this is a solutions focused show about positivity, ideas and everything like that. So my thing is, it's about challenges overcome, and I just wanted to find out what are the type of challenges you offer solutions to.
Okay. So we live in a very, very busy world, and there's so many things that's demanding our time. So some of the things that we focus on is self-esteem. There's a lot of people that feel that they're imposters or have imposter syndrome. So it's building self-esteem. There are individuals who are stuck in jobs that they dislike, or they want to venture into entrepreneurship, and they have mental blocks as to why they can't do it. The other thing is work-life balance. I've been blessed to have the opportunity of working with young people. So there's a lot of things that we do that ends up crossing over. But on the whole, what makes us different is that in terms of coaching, what I marry into coaching is a lot of writing practices, which is a little bit unique, but we can go into that later.
Okay, so tell me more about the writing practice then. Does that come into how you engage with people?
Okay, so in terms of, some people will say, why coaching? And some people will say, why can't I speak to a friend and what have you, which you can do. My whole thing is coaching is not going to work for everybody. It works for those who want to fast track where they want to be. And I always say, simply put, it's not going to be a discussion with your friends, because sometimes your friends want to give opinions and what have you. Coaching is having a conversation that takes you from point A to point B. It's about finding out what your blocks are, and it's about the client working to achieve goals that they've set. Some of the exercises that we do allows people to sort of have reflective time in between the time that we see one another, or we do Skyping, we do face-to-face, we do over the phone. So in that sense, the writing exercises are more reflective practices. There's power in being able to get things out of your mind and put them onto the page.
Okay, so you were saying that you're not this and you're not that. I wondered, in such coaching is such a wide array of stuff. The first thing I think about coaching is self-help.
Right.
And then I just think a bookstore full of
self-help
many self-help books. Okay. Where do you start? Where do you do? I just wondered, in that sea of information, are there misconceptions about what your type of coaching is?
Okay. So one of the beautiful things about coaching is that it has mushroomed and it has grown. So quite a lot of people are familiar with it and are coming into learning about coaching, whether it's workplace coaching, executive coaching, business coaching, and so forth. And then there's obviously personal coaching or life development. What tends to happen is that one of the things that I'd like to say is that coaching is not counselling. Coaching comes from, or I come from, a holistic point of view, which means that there's nothing wrong with you. You haven't got issues or problems or what have you. You just identify that there is a block stopping you from living your dream or achieving the goal that you want. So in terms of counselling, it's not counselling. It's if you've got issues that historical issues, deeper issues, it might be worthwhile going to see, or I would definitely recommend going to see a trained therapist. It's not motivational speaking. Your life coach, if you get a life coach that is spending more time talking to you, or then it's really not that. As I said, most of the time the client already has the answers within them, and having that conversation is a chance to really speak to somebody who is going to give you a safe space, is non-judgmental, enables you, reflects back to you some of the things that you're saying in terms of language, and then just challenges you, not in a necessarily aggressive way. Some of my clients, they like to be very direct and they want me to challenge them in a hard way, and others you have to be a little bit more tactful with, but challenge you to really do what you say you're going to do and really grow, and it's a support system as well. It's a support system to encourage you and cheer, to be your cheerleader. A lot of the times you can have real dreams that you're frightened to say out loud. It's ludicrous if you want to, give up your really good job and go and follow your dreams of traveling around the world. Not everybody's going to understand that. Even well-meaning friends and family may discourage you. Coaching is definitely about making sure that you live your best life.
I like that. And what's it called? So the type of people that you said that come to you, mm-hmm. it's a mixture of that. Has there been any surprise, asks for help?
Nothing I could think of in terms of surprise. The only thing that really surprises me for a lot of my clients is that on the outside, to perhaps their friends and family, they seem really confident people, and they're very successful in their careers, in their family, and what have you. And then they might come and say, well, actually, I don't feel so successful because I'm doing this, and I would really like to be doing this. Or who am I to set myself this goal? So if you've got somebody who has, for example, trained to do something in the medical profession, but really and truly their dream is that they would like to paint, it seems so crazy to leave something that's so secure to go and to do this dream. And so a lot of the time they won't even allow themselves to do it. So what we do is we look at ways that they can incorporate, as I said, their authentic self into the current life. And then sometimes, depending on what their goal is, because it's not for me to set their goals, they set their own goals. Their goal is that, in a year's time, I would have left my job and I would have started my business, or I would travel, or I would paint, or I would do whatever it is that they're called to do.
Okay. So can you give me a kind of example of, with confidentiality, of course, just wondered, someone who might have been referred to you that started out dismissively about this, you can't help me, I can help myself, and got turned around, and just wondered what were they referred for, and why do you think they came around?
Okay, in terms of, this is where it's really interesting, is that when it comes to coaching, I don't work with any clients that don't want to work with me. So there's lots of coaching now, as I said, is being brought into different places. It's being brought into the workplace. It's being brought into schools. It's with young people. So in terms of young people, I've worked in organisations where we've had young people referred to us, and again, if somebody doesn't want to do something, they're not going to do it. So it's not my job to try and convince you. It's not my job to try and get you to. Coaching is about you wanting that goal. It's about you being committed enough. If you're not committed enough to the process, I can't want the goals or achieve the goals for you. I can't want them harder than you want it for yourself. So the person may not necessarily know how to get where they want to get to. The person may not necessarily believe in themselves, but what is sure is that they come to me at a point where they want to change. So that's where the difference is with coaching. If there's resistance to change at the beginning, it's not going to work. Come back when you're ready, if at all. Because not everybody, coaching is not for everybody. I'm not trying to sell it as something for everybody.
I like this. Are there, what's it called? For me, I'm trying to get my head around. I kind of get what life coaching is after kind of, seeing your quite motivational quotes, and you reach out. You're like a one-woman outreach. What's it called? When I first met you a few years ago, and big heart, very focused, doing a very different, stressful job to this, and you're walking the talk in terms of you've kind of self-helped, literally self-helped.
I have to be
where you are now.
Yeah, I think there has to be some congruency with who you are. You can't be talking to other people and telling them, not telling them, but expressing to them that, look, you need to achieve your goals if you're not doing it yourself. So yes, when we met, I was in a job that I really hated, and it's funny because everything that I've done I'm not new to coaching. This has been something that has been a passion of mine, and my mentor and old boss, he actually trained under Anthony Robbins and what have you. So when he came to me, I think it was about 15 years ago, to introduce coaching to me, it was very alien, very new, very American, and I really didn't like it. But the thing is, you can only live your life to a certain point. There's no point in trying to live other people's lives. There's no point in trying to meet other people's expectations, because you just end up really miserable and unhappy and what have you. And that's where I was. And so for me, the difference with coaching and, say, as you mentioned earlier, self-help books, is that you can go and get a self-help book. 9 times out of 10, you may not complete that self-help book, or you don't keep doing it. So I have read self-help books, but it's only when I started working with a life coach and I had certain goals myself that it really works. So from time to time, I will work with my life coach, and like I said, it's really about having a goal and working with the life coach to achieve the goal in the shortest amount of time. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it does. Because for me, I'm just being going to be real with you. I've had a book since 2011 that I've been meaning to read, but because of my life and my time is not my own. It hasn't been since I was a teenager. But the thing is that I will berate myself because thinking, if you really want to finish that book, you would. But you know how it is. Yeah. Struggles of life, blah, 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 blah. For me, can people fit life coaching and that commitment you're talking about around their existing life as they try and transition? You say yes now. Now.
So let me tell you how. So basically, what happens with coaching is that, for example, with myself, I work with clients. If they're really committed, and depending on how quickly they want to achieve their goal, we'll work weekly, and we'll work for, can be 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour slot. And we can work face to face, as I said, Skype, over the phone, and it's within the time that's feasible for them. So that's one of the things that you do. Within that time, and we talk about this when we first start working together, we talk about the person's lifestyle and what have you. So what we don't want is, we don't want to set you up to fail. We don't want it to be a case of you say, okay, I want to do this, this, and this, and then a week has gone, and then you haven't done any of those things, and you feel bad, and you start beating yourself up and the rest of it. That's not what we do. What we do is we look at everything, and then we say, okay, then maybe it might be for you, it might be fortnightly. Maybe for you, it might be monthly. If it's on very extreme cases that it's monthly, and then we work together for 3 months, or we work together for 6 months. And usually, once people have invested in themselves and they've paid for something, it's like it's like paying for a holiday. And if that person pays for holiday in increments and what have you, unless something major happens, they're going on that holiday. So it's the same thing. Coaching is an investment. And like I said, by the time somebody decides that they want a coach and they want to work with a coach, they've had enough of whatever wasn't working for them in the past. So this is the time where you step up to the plate and you take that shot, and this is what you do.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Are there, sorry if you repeat yourself, but I'm still trying to understand, because the motivational speakers that I hear about are kind of very one-sided. They've got that earpiece thing coming out from the front, and it's like an evangelical. They mean well, but it's like whoa. So I'm just like thinking, maybe there's the resistance you're talking about. Maybe they want to get in there, but they're thinking, is there room for me? And your safe space that you're talking about is fantastic. But how come there's not more coaches like yourself in this? Because you're more, do you call yourself a motivational coach?
Or more transitional.
Transitional coach,
more transitional. Which basically, with regards to the word, is that we're literally transitioning from where you were to where you want to be. Okay. So that's in the nutshell, that's what it is. And there's loads of coaches. The thing is, like I said, the market now is there's lots of people that are coaching, which is an exciting time. And as I said, you can go from anything from business. You have coaching in the workplace with managers coaching their staff to do better. You have got writers coaches. You have got executive coaches. You've got such a vast array of coaches. So I think there's lots of coaches out there. I think there's really, really good ones. And I think it's about finding the right fit, or finding who you'd like to work with, what they're about and what have you. So I always say to people that if you're interested in coaching, it's always good to just speak to that person. Most coaches will do sort of a 10-minute consultation with you, might be longer depending on who it is, and you end up having a feel as to whether or not you can work with the person. Also for me, my success rate has to be 100%. So if I feel that I'm not necessarily the best person to work with, then I may refer them to somebody else. So I have a business partner, shout out to Sapphire Fitness, and she does health, well-being, and she's got a personal trainer background. So with regards to her, for example, she's fantastic, has really great results, works with some very difficult people in terms of mental challenges about fitness. So I'll refer them to her. So yes, I feel like there's so many coaches that you can find the right one that fits you.
Hi, Sapphire Coaching. My name is Aleakwe, and I must admit, I'm allergic to exercise. We'll be in touch. Okay, that's brilliant insights into what you do and everything. I wanted something positive in your life. Now, recent visit.
Yes, recent visit.
Back home and Jamaica. Shout out JA. Tell me about your trip. What was the highlight? Tell me a particular, what's it called? Elder that you reached. Tell me more about that, please. So, and our friends.
Okay, so I have been going to Jamaica since I was a little girl. My mum's Jamaican. I love that country. I hate the stereotype of, what tourists, Western tourists go there for, and they think it's all Bob Marley, and they think it's all
yeah, man.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, really hate it. Jamaica for me is very healing. It's very therapeutic. Just being around. There's something about being around water. In fact, if anybody's feeling low in mood or depressed or what have you, there's a thing of negative ions which is found in water. So they always say that if you're feeling low, stay under the shower for as long as possible. But in this country, but if you can, go by water, whether it's lakes, seas, whatever it is. So there's lots of beaches and what have you. So for me, it's very, very therapeutic. And I went out there because I wanted to retreat from the world and be able to just take some me time. So I spent some time out there. And one of the things, I've always been interested in the Rastafarian movement. And I was honoured to meet a Nyabingi elder. And he has been a raw foodist for the last 40 years, which is very, you know, we hear about raw food and juicing and all of that stuff now, but this is 40 years that he's been doing this. So I got the chance to spend a lovely day with him and his wife. And it was just reasoning and talking and what have you. And one of the things that I loved about him was that this man had, at the age of 12, he's in his, I think his mid to late 60s now. So, but at the age of 12, he decided that he wanted to be a Rastafarian. And at that time, if anybody knows anything about that history, it was a very negative thing. It was rebellious. It was anti-Christianity. It was anti-establishment and what have you. And it was just interesting the life that he's led in terms of he has determined his life for himself. He, you know, no one told him, didn't read in a book that he should be raw foodist, but he just knew instinctively to do it. And that goes back into the coaching side of things, is that instinctively everybody knows what it is that they want to do with their life. Whether, and when I say their life, it's not just about starting a business. It could be that you have the wrong relationships around you. It could be that you're a people pleaser. It could be that, especially as women of colour, we tend to give too much of ourselves, and we end up running on empty. So what I found really interesting about him was that from the age of 12 years old, he knew himself, and he didn't conform and hasn't conformed over the years. Even the land that he lives on, he's not materialistic at all and what have you. And the land that he lives on was given to him. And the history of that land was that it used to belong to, it was a slave owners. And somebody bought it for him and gifted it to him. So it was a very empowering, very enriching day spent talking and reasoning with him. Amazing man.
How does he survive? How do they survive?
Off the land, as he said, he doesn't need, if he wanted to, he could sleep outside. On his land, he had ackee and all the naseberry, all the fruits, all the vegetables and what have you. And so he was there like shelling ackee, and we had raw ackee, which I've never had before, but it wasn't too bad. Sugar cane and what have you. He and that's the other thing. He has this faith, which a lot of us lose here. When we're here in the West, we're too. What's the word I'm looking for? We have faith, but we don't have faith in ourselves. We have faith in the system that will allow you to go and get a job and get a paycheck, but we don't have faith to birth our dreams. And again, it could be that you could have a friendship with somebody and or a toxic relationship with a family member, whatever it is, and you know intuitively what you want to do, what you want to say, but then you go against that. And so with him, he decided that he wasn't going to conform to society's expectations of him. And like I said, he did that from the age of 12. He's somebody that was beaten up by the police for being a Rasta when his children were his children were rejected from school. They didn't want Rasta children to be in the school. And so he chained himself to the school gates until they changed their mind. He's very, very rebellious. Does not take fools lightly at all, speaks his mind, but absolutely empowering and really, really enriching to have a conversation with him.
And they opened their home for guests, or
they will be, and I can give you the information. They're currently opening up something for people to come and stay with.
Welcome. I will add that to this video after this. Just gonna check in with our friends and viewers out there. Atenda Gemma, evening. Hello.
Hi.
We have a question for
Okay.
you. Francis has commented, the idea to see a therapist seems more accessible. A familiar word, a word, idea, contact that is widely known, grounded in theoretical knowledge and methods. Life coaching, it seems less so. How does one decide to see a therapist or a coach? What are the great differences between both?
Okay, that's an excellent question. Thank you very much, Francis. Okay, so in terms of a therapist, therapists obviously are trained, they're regulated. You can go into the British Association of Counsellors, for example, and you can find somebody there. At the moment, coaching is unregulated. If you get a coach that has been trained, what you will find is that a good coach worth their salt would have invested in a lot of training for themselves. So if you were going to choose a coach, I would suggest that you talk to somebody and ask them about their background. Ask them if they are certified, if they're accredited. Ask them how many hours of training have they received in terms of client work. And then what do they specialize in? You can also ask it as well if they have anybody, any ex-people that they could contact. So, a client referral, sorry, not client referral, but you can go back and sort of say, look, is there anybody that I can speak to that you've worked with? And also, again, don't underestimate that gut feeling. Now, with regards to what you would work with in terms of an issue with a coach is present tense. It's to deal with something that's happening now, and it's to deal with going into the future. If you had a life coach that said that we're going to coach you out of depression, for example, run, because that's something that would need a therapist. Having said that, there are counselors who also double up as coaches, but they will tell you that, and they're trained and they're accredited as counselors. With coaching, like I said, it's very much about present tense. So, if you're looking for something to do with career, if you're looking at something to do with self-esteem, so you may have somebody who's been impacted, I don't know, let's say you have somebody who's been impacted by domestic abuse, and that person has got self-esteem issues. As a coach, I wouldn't be working with that person to deal with anything to do with their domestic abuse side, because I'm not a trained therapist. If they wanted to talk about perhaps building enough confidence to go back into the workforce, we can look at practical ways to help them move forward and build their confidence in that arena. But if it's a deeper issue, I would definitely recommend a therapist. But I hope that's answered your question. If it hasn't, please just ask again, reframe it, and I'll try to answer it better if that hasn't answered your question.
What's it called? I think that's given a really nice taster into a very complicated area, because actually it's more accessible than I thought it would be for people. So, which segues to how can our friends and people connect with you? In what ways?
So I'm on Facebook at Flip the Script Coaching, on Twitter Flip the Script Coaching, Instagram Flip the Script Coaching. Flip the Script Coaching.
So, it's not that kind of session, yeah? Professional?
Flip the Script Coaching. And the website is coming. It should be up. Just revamping it, so it should be up this week, God willing.
What's called? All of the links to connect with Dee is going to be on the video, underneath the video in the comments. We'll link that. Connect with her, share this video, share her wisdom. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Dee, Flip the Script Coaching. Connect with her. We'll share all of that. Peace to all of you out there. Stay strong. Stay peaceful. United. Yeah.
Live your dreams. Listen, live your dreams. Life is very, very short. We saw how many people were going last year, passing away last year. Just live your dreams. There's things that you want to do. Just go out there and do it. There's nothing that can stop you but you.
Peace out.
All right, take care. Bye. How long? This long? Sorry.
Hi world. We're still on. We love you. Take care.